delicious and comfortable. And I think my final guest is going to solidify this even more for me because he is a stupendous chef. There we go, man.
A lot of pressure.
No, none at all, chef. Look at this.
Look at this.
Whoa.
Tomato action.
That's a tomato?
It is a tomato.
Holy cow.
What one's Bob's?
Oh, the glass is right here. There we go.
My favorite head of cabbage right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, Bob left us some wine, so
that's good.
You and I are going to have to drink
All
some
right.
of Bob's
I'll
wine
do a
here.
splash because I do have to go back to work the rest of the
Does have
evening.
to, and he's been working a lot. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Who
So,
has?
you.
Oh,
You've
yes,
been working
yeah,
a lot.
yeah, that's fine.
So, Chez Pascal. Let's talk about the restaurant as a whole.
Yes,
Talk
that's
about.
right.
I'm having more than you because I'm really enjoying
That's
it.
right.
So I'm all right with this.
I'm the last one.
He's the last guest, so I'm okay. But similar to when I called Chef Eric, I had to reach out to Chef Matt, and I was actually over there and eating. So I went in, had a drink at the bar, tried to catch him, and he's an incredibly busy man. You've been helping out your sister.
I was a couple days trying to get some extra work under my belt, but I'm helping my sister do something in Mystic, Connecticut, so I've been a little busy doing that. But, you know, that's just Sundays and Mondays.
Thank you
the
for
rest
making
of the week.
Thank you for making the time to
Oh,
join
you're
us. We
welcome.
appreciate it.
Cheers.
So, Chez Pascal has been
Yes.
a beacon, is what I've been worded to say from the people on the east side, to the people that live there. You have a dramatic amount of regulars, forget the tourists and
We
new
do,
guests
yes.
coming over, right?
We do. We have a lot of regulars who've been very supportive over the 14 years. We've had the staff has been with us for some of them from the beginning,
Right.
which is remarkable. I mean, we're very grateful for that. We just, you know, Chris and I sort of moved down from Boston. We wanted to try something. We wanted to go somewhere where perhaps no one knew us. So if things didn't work out, we could just sort of sneak back up to Boston. But we were very happy there. And yes, about 15 years ago probably, that building and business, Chez Pascal, came available. So,
Well, from now being a Rhode Islander for 20-something plus years, I can say we're glad that you left Boston and came to us.
well, we're very
So
happy
thank
here
you very
too. We're
much.
very happy.
So let's talk about what you brought before, because there's a lot of history
Okay,
to
yeah,
talk
that's
about.
right.
And this dish back here has some uniqueness that I want to talk about, which also goes on at Chez Pascal.
And confusion.
And confusion.
Yeah, and confusion.
What did you bring?
Okay, so duck confit. So we're here to talk about what French food is, the idea of why perhaps
Okay.
we decided to do a French restaurant. Well, getting back to the duck confit. So duck confit is duck, which is cooked in its own fat very slowly. Much like Bob was talking about a beef bourguignon, this essentially is the same idea of cooking something slow and nice and tender. The idea of this dish, the reason why they stored it in duck fat, is because it removed the air. So this was done way before there was refrigeration, ice.
I didn't
So
know
it's a
that.
method, it's really a method of preserving the product that they cooked.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so.
And hence, everybody knows this is my favorite dish. We talk
Right,
about this all the
right.
time. My favorite
And I mean,
dish.
it's ours too. And I had a great, you know, chef teacher at another restaurant I worked at that was pretty adamant about how to do this. And it's just something that, you know, this is not something we've invented. We didn't say, hey, I'm going to do duck
Right.
cooked in fat.
Right.
But you preserve these traditions and you just put a little twist on it and how you serve it. I mean, it's duck confit, but what comes with it changes.
So those traditions, though, you honor them at the same time and still making the food simple enough for everybody to understand
Sure.
and enjoy,
True.
right?
We do. I mean, we still continue with making stocks. Onion brulee goes into the stock veal bones, simmers overnight. We strain it. We re-wet the bones, called a remoulage. We simmer that again. So Bob was talking again about, you know, sort of extracting as much as you can.
Flavors. Yeah.
Flavors.
Yeah.
But it's also, I feel like it's done in other cuisines. The words are different, but the techniques are all the same.
Yeah.
I
agree
mean,
with that.
certain cuisines use stocks more than others, but we're just borrowing techniques from other people as well.
Okay. So what do we have under the?
Under there, it's charred cabbage. So we take, this is, I'm going to talk about
Absolutely.
cabbage for a
Go
minute.
ahead.
So this is a variety of cabbage that grows typically, it's a summer cabbage, so they plant it early, probably very early spring. It's not a storage cabbage, so that means there's a lot of sugars in here. It's great for, we grill it. We
Okay.
char it on the grill, and what I love about this one, I call it gnome cabbage. Some people call it that because of the
Yeah,
shape.
the shape. Yeah.
It's also perfect for, let's say, if you're doing coleslaw in the summer, because the core root is just in the base here.
Yeah.
So you just snip off the tip, and then you slice it paper thin, and it just uncoils in nice strips. I mean,
Nice.
it's a great, great cabbage.
Nice.
Not to mention, it tastes great. So we love to char this. So anytime we see this cabbage, early spring, early summer, you know, we're throwing it on the grill. olive oil, salt and pepper, charring it, so blackening it almost.
Okay.
And then we're chopping it up with, right now we're just getting into some of the summer vegetables. Now, I know people think tomatoes grow year round here, but they don't.
They do
Okay,
not.
They do
I
not.
can trust you. My tomato
Yeah.
plants are not even
Right.
where I need them to be.
Right.
And
So,
when I get something tomato, we're going to ask them after we get past the
okay.
dishes.
So it's basically just some fresh cherry tomatoes for acidity, some sweetness, the charred cabbage, and a little bit of fresh corn. And then
Alright.
just the duck confit right on there.
So I want to do this just because this needs special highlighting. Do you mind if I switch the dishes? I
Absolutely,
want to
that's
just bring
right.
this up here because I want people to really see this one. That's what we're talking about. So part of Chez Pascal is the worst.
The worst kitchen.
The worst kitchen.
The worst
So it's
kitchen.
not worst with a U in it.
Worst.
So
Sausage.
to me, and I know that you've been doing this for a little while, but I still feel that this is a secret. It's a kept secret that people need to understand more to take advantage
We
of.
sometimes feel like that too.
No, but I think that it's, and you know, and I hope today that this is part of that education process of doing it, because the 2 times that I've gone in and experienced it, amazingly surprised, and I've become more adventurous as I've aged on food and everything, and this is part of what helps me do it. So explain what you brought, but
Okay.
then let's talk about, before we get to Chez Pascal, do you
The
mind if we
worst
talk about the worst
kitchen. Yeah, I
kitchen?
like
Alright,
that.
Okay.
So this is, right now, we're just getting into tomatoes again. So we just sort of flood the menu best we can with the products that are seasonal. This is we call it a hot link chopped BLT. So it's a smoked hot link, a spicy sausage, and we make this chopped BLT where it's chiffonade or thinly sliced lettuce, diced up tomatoes, bacon, mixed with aioli, which is garlic mayonnaise. The tomatoes are skinned, diced up nicely, or you're not getting the excess liquid from the tomatoes, and we'll run it through the season on the sausages, and it's probably our favorite one to do.
But now, the sausage itself.
The sausage itself, we do, well, this one's a smoked hot link, so they're all pork. We do probably 12, 14 different varieties of sausages, all pork-based, some smoked, some unsmoked. We make all our own frankfurters, all pork butt pastrami, bacon wrapped meatloaf.
But this is all made
All made at the restaurant.
at the restaurant.
We
So-
smoke it there. You know, we have a dedicated staff who are, at one point was hand cranking them, and then went into a little bit more of an automated where we're hitting it with our knee hydraulic press. But we do it all there.
So, from a freshness standpoint, you're never going to go wrong. And this was one of the biggest things that I had, is that, going out and shopping or purchasing things and you're looking for them, I wish that I could walk out of there and maybe
You
I missed
can.
it. All right, let's talk about it.
We
'Cause I
do
wish-
sell in retail.
You do.
We do, just through our location. You can purchase whatever sausages we have available. You can get them retail by the
I
pound.
honestly did not know that, because that was my wish. Is when I finished that, I'd hope that I could walk
Wow.
out of there, because the freshness, the quality of it is amazing. And this,
Yeah, we love them.
this has got everything on here that I could eat in 3 seconds right now.
Okay.
So this is all
Alright,
my
we'll
favorite
wait.
ingredients. So I'm good with that.
Okay.
So worst kitchen though, talk about it's lunch and dinner, right?
It's lunch and dinner, has a lot of rules because of the size of the kitchen. There's a window that pop open to the street.
Okay.
You can order a hot dog and a beer through the window as long as you stay within our little defined patio area.
At one point you had a truck, didn't you?
We did have a truck.
Okay.
We had a hot dog cart to start,
Right.
a little push cart, then we went into a food truck for about 6 or 7 years. Then we moved into the worst kitchen. So we took the idea of the food truck, put it right into the restaurant, front of the restaurant. 16 seats, 4 at the bar. Lunch and dinner, 11:30 to 2:30 is lunch. Only worst food. All pork-based. We do have a veggie burger, which we kind of fought about putting on, but we did, and it's delicious. I have to say it's delicious. And then dinner, the menu changes slightly, where the sausages are presented on a board with sort of 2 dipping sauces, and the menu is a little bit more expanded at night.
So this is not to be missed. If you are really out there trying food, and now that I know that you can take stuff home, that's absolutely amazing to purchase it. This is part of what you need to check out. And again, like you said, you got to be patient. You got to understand that it's a little bit different of a setup
Right.
within the restaurant.
Right.
That's there.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it is. I mean, I said it. There's like the tables that are right next to there's like a bar that you have that they're preparing this.
That's right,
Yeah,
right.
and I sat
Yeah,
right next to there.
perfect.
So now let's talk about Chez Pascal. So a couple quick things about it. 14 years.
We're into 14 years.
14 years you've been
14
over
years,
there,
yeah.
which is amazing, and that makes them this legacy restaurant category that we spoke about.
Sometimes forgotten about because we've been around for so long.
No, I don't think so at all. So your background. Let's just do
Okay.
a quick thing in your
Quick.
background, then let's talk about Chez Pascal,
Right.
because we got a lot to cover with
We
it.
do.
So
Background?
background.
Started cooking just as a job, probably at 16. Seemed to like working, but not realizing that maybe I like to cook. So over the years of working and moving from one restaurant to another, progressively getting more technically, skilled.
Right.
I decided, well, actually, my mother decided that if you're going to be a cook, perhaps you should go to cooking school. I sort of fought that for a while. She dragged me up there, grabbing me by my earlobe, said, "You go look." And I said, "Wow, maybe this is a place for me." Did just a 2 years associates program at the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, and just been fortunate to travel. Lived in Holland, California, New York City, Boston, all cooking. And it's just one of those professions that, if you're dedicated, you have to understand it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. You love what you do. It's hard work, long hours. You miss holidays, all that stuff. But
it's the industry. It's the industry.
We
all for you people.
Yeah, that's right. All to make sausages and duck confit.
So there's 3 other little group of things here that I need to make sure I catch up with the chef on. One is we have to talk about what your 2 things are that you recommend that guests don't miss when they come in the restaurant.
Okay.
So we're going to go there, but then we also have to talk about this tomato dinner I've heard so much about.
All right.
And then these aprons.
And
what's up with this
This
apron?
very comfortable apron. Real quick, we are talking about the Shapron, which was a design by me and 2 other employees who used to work for us, who I convinced, hey, I have this great idea, but I can't sew. Help me get this going. So it's called the Shapron. It's available at our website is shapron.com.
Shapron.
Stock Providence was the first retail store to carry. Thank you very much for that. And then J.B. Prince in New York City, which is the mecca of the culinary world, carries it as well, a special one. But what it is,
But you designed this
I
apron.
designed
This
it.
is where I'm trying to go with this.
So right here, so it's suspenders, overalls combined. It takes the stress off of your neck,
That's so cool.
and you're very happy. So one of the reasons why the food is so good at Chez Pascal, because we all wear Shaprons. We can stand up straight.
So you can, but that's what I'm looking at, though. That's so cool.
It is. And they're reversible. So right now, actually, they're on sale online. That'll be ending soon.
All right, we're not selling. But
Okay.
But this is
no. But what I wanted to get at
shows
is
how
you flip
unique
them
it
around.
is.
2 sides.
Yeah.
So it's 2 sides. They're both. That's the idea, because if you're a chef, you're working on the line.
You're dirty.
You have to go out to the dining room perhaps to see a customer. You can reverse the apron. You have a clean side.
Okay, so I needed to make this more well known because this was so freaking
Okay.
cool to me, and that's why I had to bring it up. So all right,
So I started as a hot dog peddler. Now I'm a Shapron peddler. I'm an apron peddler. Okay. So let's get back to food.
So we've got the Shapron covered.
Okay, check
Back
that
to
out.
food. So let's talk about, before we get to we'll make the last question, the dishes that you recommend not to be missed.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's go to the tomato dinner.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
so you've been doing this for a while.
Since we opened. So
Okay.
this will be our 15th year of tomato dinner. How that started was working at a restaurant in California under a chef called Paul Bertoli. He has a huge history, those people who could look him up. Anyways, they would do all these themed dinners. They did a tomato dinner. I had been part of working that. It was a great idea. Moving back to the East Coast, when we first opened in March, we went out to the farmers market that then was at Hope Street with 6 farmers. Now it's in the park with like 40.
Right.
Anyways, I met Diana from Arcadian Fields. I said, hey, I got this idea. I want to do a tomato dinner. Will you supply us with tomatoes? And that's how it sort of evolved.
That's
so
awesome.
what we do is it's 6 courses. Every course consists of tomatoes, different varieties, different methods of cooking, even the desserts. And this is the first year that I've dabbled in growing some tomatoes on our roof. I've always wanted to do a little rooftop garden.
Really
So
nice.
we have about 25, 30 plants up there. And they're doing well. They're nowhere near will supply any amounts.
What you need for the...
No, we
right.
go through hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
So timing-wise, it's based on the
It's
tomatoes.
based on when we start talking to our farmers and see how they think the summer is going,
Okay.
based on water, heat. I mean, every year is different. There's been some years where there had been a hurricane coming in, they had to harvest early, no one's sure if they're going to have supplies. I mean, it's dicey, but it's usually end of August, beginning of September. We haven't set a date yet. People do get put on a waiting list. It sells out pretty quick.
Okay, so that's the important
Okay.
part. Is that so time-wise? How much notice do you give people when you announce a date? 'Cause that was one of the questions.
Well, we'll probably know. I probably should have already known. Probably Kristen's listening and being like, yeah, I should get the date. But anyways, we will find, we get a date within the next week or 2.
All right, so I will make sure I get the date because I put it out there because
Okay,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
3 people asked me about that, so that was fantastic.
It's a great time.
Yes, and that's what I've heard is that
Yeah.
you never look at tomatoes the same way after you've been
No,
with these.
no.
All right, so last question because we've gone over here is that at least tell me at least 2 dishes.
All right.
And it could be one that your favorite dish to prepare,
Okay.
but also one that you would recommend that guests don't miss if they're coming
Well,
throughout the menu.
Part of what we do is we change the menu because we're going on what's available by produce.
Okay.
So to tell you to come in and get something now, it might not be there.
Okay.
But what I just recommend is go by what the waiters are recommending. I mean, we try to always move things along, feature products as they come in. Tomatoes are starting to come in. Corn is starting to come in. We flood the menu with those items. As that season changes and other items are coming in, we move through those items. I mean, we do a great duck. Everyone does love our duck. You get duck confit and sliced duck breast, so you get best of both worlds.
Awesome.
Any of the worsts you can try in the worst kitchen. I mean, I'm a huge fan of hot dogs, so.
I've heard this, that his wife was very thrilled about him experimenting and doing all this.
That's
so.
right. Yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun.
All right, and then preparation-wise, from you preparing, what are some of your favorite things to prepare?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, we just love to cook. I mean, there's not one thing in particular that I don't like to cook. There are days that I don't like being in the kitchen because it's 120 degrees, but other than that, I mean, we just generally enjoy working with products. And I think what is the most enjoyable for us, our staff, is when the farmers come in and we meet them and that relationship that we've built with them and seeing the product that they have and meeting new farmers, and that's what it's all about.
Well, Chef, thank you. Awesome education, apron and all.
Yes, that's the
shape.
shapron.
Shapron,
Okay,
shapron.
okay,
I got it right.
okay. There's aprons and then there's shaprons.
Shaprons and all.
Okay.
The worst kitchen. This is a location that you cannot forget about in Providence. It's been there for a long time. We're happy that you're here, and thank you for making the time,
you're
Chef.
welcome.
Greatly
You bet.
appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
From Rick Simone, thank you for joining me on the taste today. Sorry we went a little over, but great guests. Next week we're talking Newport hot spots. Tune in next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much. Next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much. Next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much. Next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much.